get started. Okay, girls. Dana asked me on the spot last Sunday if I would talk. Dana, done. She knows.
I don't
She knows
really
I won't tell her
recall
no.
I don't recall if you ever agreed to it, Shelley. We just,
Exactly.
yeah.
She knows
But
that I don't really know how to say no very well.
Yeah. So you're here. So
Well, that was very disrespectful of me. And whenever you're done, I'll apologize.
Okay, thank you.
Wow.
No, I spent the week kind of praying about what to talk about and how this is going to go down.
I'm
I
busy,
have a
buddy.
lot
I'm on a
of
phone call.
okay, we're all need to mute.
I do have some practical like business things that I want to get to, just to help us, do what we need to do in our businesses on a daily basis. But I had a couple of things I was involved in this week that it wasn't like for this, but made an impact on me. And I kind of wanted to open up with this stuff. So I don't know if you guys saw, I know I posted it for my group. Edie Wadsworth she's Diamond Crown. I don't know what she is. She's Diamond Above Young Living. But she also has a coaching business. And I've heard a lot of our friends talking about her coaching here recently and how incredible it's been for them. So she posted a 3-day event that was like $7. And it was, I think, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I jumped on those calls this week. So there's a little bit of stuff I wanted to share from that. First of all, none of it's rocket science. Like it's all stuff we've heard before, but it was a really, really great reminder for me at just where I'm at right now. The biggest takeaway from it is that, we all have things that we do, right? Good things and bad things. We have bad habits. We have good habits. We have ways that we self-sabotage our life and the things we do, whether it's business or life or relationships or whatever. But really getting to the root of why you're doing those self-sabotaging things are what is going to help you stop doing those self-sabotaging things. And I've heard this from other coaches too. Kristen Boss is one that talks a lot about this. We will never be successful when we are relying on willpower alone. Like, because they use the example of, how you'll be like, okay, I'm going to start this diet on Monday, right? And then you do really great from like Monday to Wednesday. And then Thursday, it's girls' night out. And then all hell breaks loose and you eat all the brownies, right? That's because willpower only lasts for a very short amount of time. You can't sustain it. And so if you peel back the layers on that, what she talks about is, so first of all, we have thoughts, okay? Obviously, we know that. Those thoughts lead to feelings, and then those feelings lead to the response. And so if we can peel back those layers and basically get control of our mind, get control of our thoughts, then that is what's actually going to change our feelings and then our actions from there. And it made me step back and think for a minute, okay, so all the things that I used to do and you guys might be doing this stuff. You might not have never pulled back on your business activities. I know that I have tremendously, and it's just time for me to get back in the game, like the way that I know how to do. But I just had to think for a second, okay, why did I pull back on all these different things that I was doing for my business that helped me be so successful? Why did I pull back on that? Because they were working, And then I had to sit with all this uncomfortable stuff for a while and really realize that I allowed some negative voices to shape how I was thinking. I allowed some negative situations to shape how I was thinking. And even though those situations happened quite a while ago now, I got stuck in the thought patterns because of those situations. And I got stuck in the thought patterns of, oh, well, if I reach out to this person, they're not going to respond. Oh, if I invite all these people to this Zoom, only 2 are going to show up. Oh, if I open this event up at my house, only 3 people are going to come. I have never, when I first started Young Living, because I didn't know any better, and I didn't know what I was doing. And I was just like, okay, let's just hit the ground running because this stuff is amazing and it changed my life. I never had those thoughts. I was just like, whatever, if people don't come, they don't come. That's their loss. Like that was totally my attitude at the time. And then I allowed all the noise and all these people to get in my head, and I just started overthinking everything. And I got in these really negative thought patterns. And so when you think to yourself, oh, I'm going to have this class at my house that nobody's going to come. Well, then your whole body nothing feels good. Your energy gets super negative. Even if you do decide to go through with the event, when you're doing the inviting, you're not doing it with complete positive energy. You're doing it with, hey, oh my gosh, I know you're super busy, but I'm going to have this event at my house. No, the other way is, oh my gosh, this event is going to be so great. You should really be here. Will you come? Right? Like there's two ways of doing that, right? And that all is dependent upon your own personal thought patterns and what is driving how you're responding. And so I want to challenge everybody, if you have felt stuck, for lack of a better word, in your business, if you have felt like you have pulled back on things, if you aren't feeling the same joy that you felt in your business as you did whenever before, I want you to sit with yourself for a while. That might be 30 minutes. It might be a couple days, you guys, like it might be even longer. I don't know what that is for you, but I want you to sit with that and start thinking about what those thoughts are in your head that are creating negative feelings in your body that are causing you to respond a certain way towards your business, thus stopping you from doing what you used to do for your business. Okay. If that's you. Some of you guys may be new and this might not apply to you at all. And if it doesn't, I'm like so happy about that. But even if you are new, I have a new girl. She's so precious. We talk quite a bit, and she hit senior star like in a month or two. I don't remember. It was crazy fast and she's doing great, but we've had a lot of talks and she's brand new and she is still telling me, well, I invited all these people and nobody's showing up. Well, I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of that. And I'm like, so even though here, another point I kind of want to make, even though I've been in this business so July is going to be 10, 11, 12 years for me. I have those thoughts. She's been in it a couple of months and she has those thoughts. Okay, so it's human nature and it's us listening to the noise and listening to all the people around us and letting those people shape our thoughts, thus shaping our feelings, thus shaping our actions, right? So anytime you have those negative thoughts come in about somebody's not going to come or somebody doesn't want to hear about the business opportunity or they don't want to hear me talk about earning money, like you have to really pull back and say, wait a second, where are those negative thoughts coming from? And then does that person really matter? That person that's in your ear, that's really, really negative. Y'all all know we've got those 1, 2, 3, 4 voices in our life that, yeah, right. But you got to step back and be like, does that person really matter? Does that person really care about me? Does that person pay my bills? No, they don't, promise you that. And then you got to think about that person has a lot of their own stuff and that's okay. We all have our own stuff, but you got to leave that person's stuff to that person, right? And separate it from you. So I've had to do a lot of work with that over the last couple of years. And I'm just being straight up honest with that. And it has not been easy. But there have been a lot of things that have come into my world, especially the last month, to really, really show me how much I was letting that impact me. And we had a really great church sermon this morning. It was really cool how this all intertwined. But he just talked about, first of all, you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. Y'all have heard that before, right? We've heard that in different places. I've heard it a million times. All the different coaching programs I've ever been in, all the different leadership classes I've ever been in, various church sermons, like I've heard this everywhere. So take a minute and write down who the 5 people are in your circle that you talk to the most, that you trust the most, that you listen to their opinions the most, that you spend your free time with the most. Write those people down, y'all. If they aren't happy people, and I'm not saying everybody has to be happy to be a good person, that's not what I'm saying, but if their outlook on life is just 100% negative all the time, guess what? Guess how that's affecting you and your thoughts and your actions. Okay. And in our sermon today, he was like, I'm not saying like cut all these people out of your life. Now, if it's a super unhealthy relationship, you might need to do that. But just look at who you are allowing to influence your thoughts. And it's so subconscious, you guys. It's so subconscious. That's why you have to be super careful about who your circle is and who you're listening to. Because we just naturally pick up those people's energy and then carry that into everything else that we're doing. The other thing that our pastor talked about today, which I was actually already going to talk about this. So again, I love how this lined up, but he was like, three things that people need. They need acknowledgement, they need appreciation, and they need acceptance. However, here's the kicker. We can't give that to anybody if we don't have it for ourselves. So here's where you got to do some more personal work. Do you acknowledge yourself as an important person?
Repeat those three. I'm taking.
So acknowledgement, appreciation, and then acceptance. And so the thing is, like, I know me personally, I can say to you, oh my gosh, I can acknowledge so many people. I'm so grateful for the people in my life, my family, my organization, my best friends that cheer me on. I love them for who they are. Like, I can be so non-judgmental. You can do all the terrible things and I can be like, I still love you. It's fine. But hang on. Can you turn that around? Can you look in the mirror and acknowledge yourself and accept yourself and then and appreciate yourself? I struggle with that. I can on some days, but then on other days when I'm not doing so great and I'm not feeling successful and I'm not getting all my stuff done and I just want to lay in bed all day, I can tell you right now, I don't appreciate myself. I don't acknowledge myself and I don't accept myself on those days. And the truth of the matter is, if you can't do it for you, you can't for real, genuinely do it for anybody else. And so what I'm bringing all that to is this. One of the most important things for the type of business that we have is community and culture. And just fight me on that. Fight me if I'm wrong. That Teresa, Dana, Kathy, like Karen, y'all, you've been here long enough to know we have nothing if we don't have community and culture. Now, we might can enroll people all day long. Instagram stars do it all day. They enroll people with no personal relationship, with no community, with whatever. Well, guess what? Those people buy a kit and then they fall off. That is not a residual business. That is not residual income. That is not what we're after. So those of us that have built our business, and let me say this, I've never been an influencer, Facebook, Instagrammer, big enroller through that route. I've never been that. I get enrollments through that way, but that's never been my main form of building my business. It's always been in person for me. So just know that I'm speaking from that point of view. When I sit down with somebody and maybe do a Zytoscan with them, or maybe even just listen to what's going on in their life and just say, okay, well, this is what I know helped me. This is what I know helped my friend, or I'll tag you on this post that we have in our group about that, and it's like, there's an actual real personal, emotional connection, right? We have to have that in our businesses. So part of this call, like, I know it's kind of hard when you're on Zooms to unmute and talk when there's different people. Guys, I'm not an expert. I've been in this a while. I've learned a lot the hard way. So I'll always share that. But you guys, the names that I know on here, y'all have been with me almost just as long. So you have plenty of experience just like I do. So I would love to hear your thoughts on any of this. But I feel like the way that we have been successful in the past with building culture and community, one, we have our online presence, right? Obviously, we have people all over the US, we have people in other countries. So obviously those people are not going to be in our homes on a regular basis. So there's an avenue and an aspect to creating that online synergy. One question that I have for you guys that I'd love for you to either share in the comments or when we open up your questions or whatever, is when you did feel a lot of really great momentum in your business, what was happening? I want write that down. Even if you don't answer that to me today, I want you to think about that on your own, because these are all questions that I've just really sat back and thought about this week. What was happening when you were finding joy in your business, when you saw momentum, when people were enrolling, when things were just felt like they were rocking and rolling? What was actually going on in your business? I know for me, I can speak to, because I have a fairly large Facebook group that I created for my team back in like 2013. And at the time that everything was just rocking and rolling, what we had a calendar and I had different girls that were all, wanting to build their businesses. We were all working together and everybody took a day and everybody made a post on your day. And sometimes we had a theme, sometimes we didn't. It was just kind of, we would get together, you know, the month ahead of time and talk about what's this month going to look like? What are these posts going to look like? Right. And then everybody took a day. So what it felt like was, one, it felt like there were a lot of people posting. So our group had excitement. So all the other people that were kind of just there watching, they thought like, oh, all these people are posting about all this stuff. Right. And then we had everybody commenting. Here's the thing. So like Kathy's in my group. Kathy, love to see your face. She has Facebook friends that are not my Facebook friend, right? So when Kathy posts in my group, her Facebook friends are going to see her post before they see mine. When I post in my group, my Facebook friends, that the people in the group that are my actual Facebook friends are going to see my post before they see Kathy's, right? So when you have all these different people posting on a regular basis, well, then you basically can cover everybody in that Facebook group instead of like 100. Okay. And when everybody is seeing in the information in the Facebook group, they're getting education. They're seeing the fun giveaways that are going on. They're seeing the energy that everybody else has. They're looking at all the information and it feels fun and you feel connected and you have an emotional connection. And for my team, you know, we, life, COVID, all the things, whatever, we could like analyze the reasons all day long, but that has all been, it came to a halt really after a couple months after COVID started for various reasons. But my prayer for my team and what I'm working on, and I want to talk to all of them about, is just really getting a plan for starting that up again. And 2 people might want to join me in that, 25 people, 50, I don't know. But here's the thing. I'm not going to, in the past, I thought to myself, I should really get that going again. And then I thought, well, I don't want to stress my people out. I don't want to ask them to post. I don't want to ask them to do one more thing. I know how much stress I have in my life. I know all the hard things I have going on in my life, and I don't want to put anything else on them. That's how my brain was working. Now I'm like, you know what? I should stop assuming that they don't want to do it and just ask them. And if they tell me no, they tell me no. And that's fine. I can absolutely respect them where they are in their decision, and actually applaud them for saying no if it's not what they need to do right now. Right. But what if I get 5 people that are like, yes, we want to do this again? That's way better than nobody doing it. Right. So it's getting your head out of, what if nobody does it? Okay, well, what if one person does it? That's where my head's at now. What if just one does? And even not, I'll still keep doing what I'm doing. But I have a feeling that there are a lot of girls on my team that miss that community and the camaraderie and the momentum in their businesses that we had. So yeah, that missed that. We had that, right? And I have a feeling there's a lot of people that miss it. So I just need to step out and say, hey, if you're interested in this again, let's do this, right? So I just want to encourage you guys. I don't know if you have your own Facebook groups or what, but if you don't, and you're just plugged into Teresa's or you're plugged into mine or whatever that looks like, get on board with the whole team, because it's so hard to do this by yourself. Nobody wants to do this by themselves. Nobody. And it's so much better if we work together. One of the things that gave me life, Teresa and I were in Grand Cayman last week for our diamond retreat. And it literally gave me so much life to talk to so many diamonds that felt the exact same way I did. And they were like, I just feel alone. I'm not really sure where to start again. And I'm like, that's exactly how I feel. So we all said, all right, Zoom calls this week. We're getting back together. And I was like, oh, that I don't even know what we're doing yet, but that just feels so good to just have that life again and that team synergy again. So I can't impress enough for you to plug in to these things, whether it Teresa, me, like there's other people that offer lots of things. I'm just naming her and I, because we're on here and we have groups already, but whoever you feel called to plug into, like, do it, right? Reach out to them if they're not reaching out to you. Let's see, I have notes, trying to stay on task. Another thing that creates community and culture for us is in-home parties. It just is, you guys. When you get somebody in your house, or you're at a coffee shop together, or you're at their house, or you go to a lunch and learn at a public restaurant, whatever, even if it's for an hour, just 1 hour, that connection and that doing life together again, you have no idea how much that's going to breathe life into you, for one. And we can't give life to other people if we're not full of life, right? It's going to breathe life into you, but it's also, you're going to be so surprised at what it's going to do for the people that you are working with and that are with you. So I can't encourage you enough. Even if it takes everything in you to put one class on your calendar, and it's at your house, or it's at so-and-so's house, or it's at the coffee shop, I don't care where it's at, but just a group of people just getting together, talking about oils, talking about how all this stuff blessed your life, and just doing life together. That is how we start building our community and our culture back. And if you're new and you don't have one, that's how you start it. That is exactly how mine started. If you guys have other ideas about how to start them, definitely let me know. But those are the two biggest things for me, was the in-home parties, but then also getting everybody on team Zooms for a while. Invite your people to this Zoom. Teresa already said, she was like, it's every Sunday. We're going to stay consistent. No matter one person shows up or 500, we're going to stay consistent. And that's what, I mean, you, with no fail, even if you have something and you can't be here on a Sunday, still tell all your people to be there. We will take care of them. If I'm not on here, Teresa will, or if Teresa's not, I mean, we will take care of your people. Like, that's no problem. Dana's amazing at taking care of my people. So thank you for that. But it's just, even if you can't come, don't say, oh, I'm not going to promote it because I can't be there. Like, promote it, right? The next thing I was recognize and appreciate. So one thing that I used to do really well, I'm just going to speak for me, was posting like, these are the top enrollers, these are the rank ups, these are our new stars, these are this, these are that. I haven't done that in so long. I'm going to tell you guys, here's the biggest reason. Those few negative voices in my world, because they weren't doing well in their businesses at the time, and they couldn't own certain things, then they didn't like that I was celebrating the success of everybody else. And so I pulled back, because I was like, well, I don't want to offend these people. I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to do with that. So it was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what the best choice is. I don't want to make anybody mad. I can't make anybody happy. So I just quit doing it. That's not okay. That's not the right answer. When people are working, when people are, and not even working, when you're doing good things, even if you're suffering, you still want somebody to say, hey, I see you. Like, do you need help? I'm here for you. You know, if they are enrolling, they're busting their butt. They are putting themselves out there. They are spending their time doing it. They're spending their time away from their family. They're spending their time on their phone. They are making sacrifices that needs to be recognized. And I, for one, I'm upset with myself that I pulled back on that, but hey, today's a new day. So there's that. Even if you can recognize them publicly in your Facebook groups, you can send them a gift in the mail. Nobody even has to know. It doesn't matter. It's whatever you feel is best for you and that person, and how you want to say thank you to them and appreciate them. I used to send fun, different random gifts and cards, and I just haven't done any of those things in quite a while. And I've been writing down things this week of things I used to do that made me feel joy that I stopped doing. And then I was like, why did I stop doing it? And then I dug into all of that. But so that's something else. So figuring out if you want to make posts, or if you want to send gifts, or what does recognition look like to you? It's different for everybody, and that's totally fine.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I feel like something that you said is something that I've had a lot of conversations around lately. And the people, can y'all hear me?
The sound is really poor, Dana.
Here,
Is it better now? Hold on. I've got naked kids running around. 1 second. Let me run in the other room. Can y'all hear me? Something that I've learned in therapy, and I've learned in my life specifically, that I think applies to what you're saying, is oftentimes I have let the weakest people have the most say. And that destroys a home, it destroys a marriage, and it'll damn sure destroy a business. So if we let the weakest people who are insecure, narcissistic or selfish or just not for us, even just if they're just not for us. They don't even have to be bad. They're just not for us. And we let them have the biggest voice, our business will only reach as high as they've ever gotten. Does that make sense? It will destroy so much. So it's kind of like what you said a little bit ago. Find those people, the people that are influencing you, but like take some time this week and find out who who the weak people are in your life that you have been coddling by and a lot of Christians will think that they're just showing them grace. No, those people are they're drinking your grace like a leech. So make sure that whenever you have a business with your business, and this is a business, that the people that have a say in it are the strongest voices, not the weakest people in your life, not the people who aren't doing the work. I'm not just talking about the YO work. I'm talking about like personal work. Like just make sure that the weak ones aren't the ones that are your strongest voice. And I hope that makes sense.
That makes 100% sense. And I will second the whole thing about that. That's what had me for so long. Okay, I'm going to be a good friend. I'm going to be a good Christian. I'm going to give grace to this. I know they have XYZ going on. I'm not going to judge that. But in the midst of all of that, I still let it really affect how I was thinking and what I was doing. And it was absolutely detrimental in so many ways. So yes, just what Dana said, go back and think about those scenarios and those people and those situations and analyze that for yourself.
Can I interject here? With some people through the years, I've seen that person that was so negative was actually a spouse. And so that's a possibility with some of you, with your businesses. It's a possibility that your husband, I don't know if there's any men on here, that your husband is the one that is really pulling you down with this. And if that is the case, you can acknowledge that within yourself, but you need to find a group of people that you can cling to. And when we first started this, David called it my voodoo, and he just rolled his eyes. For 2 years, he rolled his eyes at any oil. So I understand when they don't acknowledge it, they don't recognize it as valid, but find people that you can walk with. Eventually, trust me, eventually they're going to see it's going to click, especially when you start getting a check.
Or
money talks.
Or you can get rid of them. I've also done that. You do not have to keep that husband. It is not required by law.
The divorce call, that's Zoom too.
Yeah, can call me for that. Anyway, that's another day. That's another day.
No, but it's true. And that I'm happy to say y'all all, most of you guys know Brian. He's always been great. He's always been like, whatever. So I can't relate to that, but my heart hurts. If I did not have support, I can only imagine how hard that would be for me if I didn't have his support. But you've got us. You can push through it. And you're right. Money talks. He laughed at me too. For a while, but that first $1,000 check, he was like, okay, so what do I need to do for you to go to work? So anyway, the next thing I wanted to this is like one of the practical things to really hit on. Our business residual income is solely from loyalty rewards. There's nothing else, you guys. Do we have to keep enrolling new people? Absolutely. But again, when I first started, and I'm like super what they call red personality, and really like I like goals, and I like, oh, I'm gonna make that happen, like that's just me. And I focused on, back then it was called ER. Most of you guys probably remember Essential Rewards. I focused on that ER percentage number like hardcore. I was looking at it every day. And I loved the fact that even though I felt like I had a smaller team than most diamonds, that my ER percentage was 50% or more. Most diamonds would report like having 20 to 30%. And I'd be like, I'm little, but I'm mighty because here's our ER percentage. It was so great. But I kind of started analyzing that today. I'm like, okay, what happened here? So kind of what I think, for one, when the option came about for us to be able to enroll somebody with the membership discount without them having a kit, right? You can now enroll somebody with a bottle of grapefruit oil and they can get the membership discount if you stick it on loyalty, which is fine. But it doesn't count actually if it's under 50 PV, right? They're not getting points for it. And nobody needs a bottle of grapefruit oil every single month unless they're doing what I'm doing and reducing my cellulite with it. So I'm drinking a whole capsule full of it every night. That's a whole nother deal. Most people aren't doing that. You don't need a bottle of grapefruit oil every night or every month. So you're not going to have, if you're just enrolling somebody with that one oil that they saw somebody post somewhere, well, they're not going to have a loyalty order. They're like, I don't need any more of this. This bottle of oil is going to last me a year, you know? So what happened was when I got into the business with Teresa and Dana initially, and we had the essential rewards, you could have your kit, but then you needed an essential rewards order because the kits couldn't go on essential rewards. So I was taught, or I think they taught me this, or I decided, I don't know, buy a kit and here's your rewards order. Like, that's just how it went. That's how I enrolled people, no matter what. That's what we did. And most of the time it was their oil kit, and then it was their Ningxia Red and probably Sulfurzyme and Thyromin, because that's what like saved my life when I first started Young Living. And that's what I was telling everybody about. But I was cranking out every new member, 300 PV plus on ER with kits, because of sitting down and educating them on what all of that stuff did for me. Well, COVID happened. We know that's all the crazy, and people stopped getting together, and we stopped having this in-home parties. We stopped having this face-to-face connection and this real emotional connection. And we did a lot on Facebook. So it's just like, oh, hey, I saw that thieves oil helps, you know, whatever. So that's all I need. I've enrolled a lot of people with just a bottle of thieves oil. And despite my efforts of trying to message them and send them project broadcast messages and educate them about, well, this is what Ningxia does, it's not the same as me sitting down and talking to them and truly telling them what Ningxia does. And so the rewards percentages has gone down so much because of that, thus highly impacting our businesses in negative ways. If you aren't having those repeat orders and that OGV isn't continuing to go up because of the customers you've already enrolled, well, then every month you're just disappointed and you're deflated because your OGV is less than this month as it was last month than the month before. So we have to get back to that education and that telling our stories and like say, this is what Ningxia Red does. This is what it's done in my house. This is what Thyromin has done in my life. And whether that's you sitting with them in your living room, or you getting them on a FaceTime call, or you getting them to a Zoom call. If you will get them on a Zoom call, that's just as good for the most of the time, because it's a setting like this. It's usually not like hundreds of people. And I know for me and my team, my goal is I got away from the educational Zoom calls, but those are going to be on the calendar once a month again. The reason I got away from them is because people stopped showing up. So I was like, why am I blocking out my Tuesday night and missing my kids' volleyball game? And none of my girls are sharing these Zoom calls and getting their people on here. I mean, I'm sharing, I'm trying, you know, I'm getting a few people on, but 2 to 3 people on one Zoom call is not worth me missing my kid's life. So that's what happened for me. But at the same time, we had lost so much of our group synergy and everybody working together, and everybody was disconnected. I'm not putting blame on anybody. I've been very disconnected as well. So I completely understand. But that's just frankly the reason I stopped holding consistent educational calls. And I just know how important they are, and I'm ready to make a commitment to get those consistent again. And so you can either do those for yourself and your team, whatever that looks like, or you can plug them in to whatever I'm doing or Teresa's doing. There is a Tuesday night call that's already happening. Tom and Evangeline Reed, Danette Goodyear. I don't know if you guys know their names. I've hosted Tom and Evangeline at several of my events. They are incredibly smart people. Dr. Tom Reed is a doctor in Houston. They're already doing it. They're already hosting a call every Tuesday night where they are giving you mind-blowing information. They are not recorded because it's mind-blowing information that we aren't, whatever. But that's always there for you to plug into and plug all your people into. So it's the education. The education is what is going to drive your rewards order, people. That's it. I personally have the Zyto system. Some of you may have that, some of you may not. I'm a big fan. If you ever want like pointers on how to use that, it has been the best business tool I've ever had. And it drives my rewards orders at monthly. The people that I get in my office, in my house, and I scan them, they have regular orders because they want to keep up with what's going on and they want to make sure they're taking what they need to take. So that's a whole nother thing. You guys can obviously message me if you have more questions about that, or put it in the chat, or we can open up questions in a second. The other thing, this is the last thing I'll touch on. There's so much more we could talk about, but just to keep this at a nice amount of time. Here's another thing that I stopped doing that I know was super detrimental to my business. I stopped teaching and talking about the comp plan. Once all the changes started happening, again, you guys remember, that was after COVID, that was after, like, our whole world was upside down. Everybody's world was upside down. Your relationships with your family were upside down. These people wanted vaccines. These people didn't. These people believed in masks. These people didn't. Like, it was just so much controversy was going on everywhere. There was so much noise. We had differing opinions from people that we thought alike for our whole life. Like, everything felt crazy and upside down. And then Young Living changes the comp plan. And then our website changes. And it was just like, I don't know about you guys. I can only speak for me. I felt like my brain was exploding. And I was like, I can't do this. And again, those negative thought patterns. It's like, I can't do this. Oh my gosh, what are we doing? And I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to wait. I'm not even going to learn this yet until they tell me this is solid and this is it. And there's no more changes. Well, there's no such thing. There's going to be changes the rest of our life. But I was in this thought pattern of, this is all too much. I can't do this. I can't learn this. So it got me so tripped up. I stopped sharing the comp plan because I wasn't confident in my answers. If somebody was like, well, what do I do if I get this? What if I do get this? Well, that's on me that I didn't educate myself well enough to feel confident. That's on me. What I want to tell you guys is, educate yourself well enough for everybody. That's a different level, to where you're confidently telling somebody, this is what you get if you enroll a new customer. This is what you get if you hit executive, right? Erin Rogers, she's a RCD in Young Living. She has an incredible book, and it's very simple and it is very easy. And it's the whole new comp plan, and basically how to teach somebody the comp plan and how to teach somebody how to start a business. Her website is oilsupply.store.com, and her book is on there, and it is awesome. Myself and a couple other, there's like 10, 15 of us diamonds that got together in Grand Cayman, and we're like, we're just going to get this book and we're going to do a Facebook group and teach it for 30 days, right? Like, we can do that. We can walk people through this book. Most people don't want to read a book, and they don't want to read the instructions, and they just don't. I'm one of those people. I don't. I'm like, just tell me. I don't want to read all that. But that's what I need to do for my people. That's what I want to do for my people. I know for my personality, everybody's different. If you tell me what I'm going to get if I do X, Y, Z, okay, that makes sense. That's worth it. Let's go. But if I don't know anything about anything that's going on and I feel confused, well, I'm not going to feel confident, and I'm probably not going to walk forward with it, right? I think a lot of people are like that. So sharing the comp plan is such a big part of our business. It is such a big part. We all know everybody needs extra money. Nobody does not need extra money. Like, that's not even a thing, especially now. So if you are able to tell somebody $100, $500, I mean, whatever, y'all know there's the different levels or whatever. I can tell you, I bought some products from a different MLM from a friend not too long ago. It's a totally different kind of thing, but she was telling me all about this. She obviously wants me to do this with her because I've been successful in Young Living. I'm like, nah. But she's like, well, I'm like, you only get $100 for like 7 people. What even? Like, how is that worth my time? I'm like, I get $50 with one person in Young Living, and right, we know it goes all past that. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm just going to stick with my job over here. But I'm like, it's crazy to me. There's so many MLM companies out there and like affiliate links that you can do. You have to work your tail off for like $50. I'm like, yeah, no, thanks. We literally have the coolest, most generous comp plan that I've seen. And so we've got to be talking about it. We've got to be sharing about it. People need this. Not only do they need the health and wellness, they need the money. And we can't be shy about that. And again, if there is a person in your ear, or if there are ideas from the way you grew up or whatever that are stopping you from sharing money, talking about money, I would highly encourage you to just look into that and figure out where that's coming from. Because again, that's the whole thing about you're making an assumption for somebody else based on your own personal stuff. And that's not serving you well. It's not helping you. So, that's the gist of my notes and everything I had written down. So I'd love if you have questions, if you guys have ideas or want to comment on something I said, I want to hear all the things.
You have to unmute yourself. So if you have something to comment or question, be sure and unmute yourself. Okay, we do have, I'll put it in the chat, but we do have Unplugged Thursday night. Becca did this a couple of weeks ago for our Unplugged, and we name it Unplugged because it's not recorded, so she can talk really bluntly, really plain. She talked for an hour and people were saying, we need more information. We need more of this. So we scheduled for Becca to come back and do it again this Thursday night at 7 Central Time. And I'm telling you, if you bring people, so exactly what Shelley said, if you want people to order again and again and again, they need to know the value of the products. They need to know, why is this important? And Becca will give them so much information on what they need for a healthy gut. And every person we know has either themselves or someone in their life that needs information on how to have gut health.
So Becca taught this class several years ago, right? When I hosted it, like we Zoomed her in, I rented a room at our civic center here in town. I literally had 100 people there. People want this information. They need this information. It is worth their time. It is such great information. And yeah, you have to join Loyalty Rewards and get all this stuff. If you hear this info and then you know how much it's going to help you, they'll totally, it's a no-brainer. But my thing
Shelley,
is, yeah.
will you consider either recording yourself or doing a live something like this and teaching all of us the comp plan again?
After I teach myself the comp plan.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
for sure. You know, I will. And I need to, and actually I did it what month was your event, Teresa? October? This past year?
I don't know. That's been a while.
Right. But I did it there. But here's the problem. I only did it once. So I don't feel like I know it like the back of my hand, but I did it. So I have the notes. We have the presentation. I just need to read it again. Yeah.
And there are still lots of people that will never study and learn the comp plan. It's not their personality. It's not. So learn the bonuses. It's just 2 bonuses, the Fast Start bonus and the Start Living bonus, or starter kit bonus. I don't even know what it's called now. See, I don't know, but I do know they get 50% the first month of whatever the person orders, 25% the next 2 months. And they get a $25 bonus just for the premium, somebody ordering the premium kit. The bonuses are easy to learn, and that's what most people want to hear. And then you just tell them, if you want more information about how to really have a residual income, we just need to sit down and have a conversation.
Yeah. I just thought of this. One of the great ideas that came about, I was on a Zoom call with some other diamonds the other day. And we were just talking about brainstorming different ways of connecting with people. And this is an idea that I personally like. I haven't pitched it to my team of girls yet. I'm trying to get all my ideas in a row and organize before I did that. But I like the idea of having a text thread. Now, if it gets too big, that can get a little crazy. But for me, text is really personal. You can miss so much stuff on Facebook, and you cannot respond on Facebook. And when you're in Facebook groups, it feels easy to hide and you're not there and whatever. But if we have a text thread, and again, take each person taking a day or a couple people taking a day, whoever's willing to do that, whatever, and just put like on a Monday, just like saying, run your reports for your new brand partners. Like, and if y'all don't know how to run reports, it's easy, we can tell you, but run your reports see who signed up as a new brand partner, and then reach out to them, right? Or make a Facebook post today about something you used this morning, And it's an accountability thing. And then coming back and saying, made my post. Good. Invite all your people to the Zoom call that's happening this Sunday. Thank you so much. Totally forgot about it. An hour later. Okay, good. Just invited all my people to the Zoom call, right? Just these little things that we need accountability for. We need reminders for. I need people to remind me to do that, you guys. And I've been doing this for a really long time.
But
if
it's
I have-
not only accountability, that is community you were talking about earlier.
Exactly. That's we were brainstorming ways to build community and connection and relationship, and also help us with our accountability with our business. And I was like, yeah, and I want a day to be able to say, hey, how can I pray for you today? Like, I've had a crappy day and this is what's going on. I would love prayer, and who needs it from me? Like that's the kind of thing I would like to get back with my business. And that's a lot what I miss. And I built so many incredible relationships, and so many people have blessed me, whether it was just knowing them for a short amount of time or a very long period of time, whatever, and all in between. And I miss that. And I want that. I think us as humans, just in general, we don't realize how much we need that. A side note, this was another thing that had a big impact on me. I don't know if you guys, those of you that are my Facebook friends, I wrote a post about depression. It was first or second week of May. I was struggling really bad. And it was the hardest thing ever to hit post. But I was like, I felt like I was supposed to post it. And so I'm like, all right. Okay, this was absolutely astounding to me. First of all, I had about 230 comments on the post itself of people that could relate and people that were struggling. Outside of that, I had about 60, you guys, private messages in less than 24 hours. I was like, this is not okay. This is not okay. This is not okay. We need community. We need our people. We need our relationships, and we need healthy solutions to truly work through these traumas and release them and get better. And I don't have the answers for that. I just know that it's a big deal. And I know for me, what I've been missing over the last couple of years, and this has been a big part of it. So.
Anyone else?
I have something real quick. Shelley talked a while ago about internet and influencers, and goodness knows I'm not an influencer, but I did go down the rabbit hole of on Facebook ads, and paid a whole bunch of money to take some classes to learn how to do Facebook ads. And supposedly, all these people were being super successful building their businesses with Facebook ads. And so I bit, and I drank the Kool-Aid, and I paid all the money. And I did sign up a few people, but like Shelley said, they didn't stick. There was no relationship. Even trying to get a relationship, it was just incredibly difficult. And so if anybody's contemplating that, I can just tell you. And Shelley tried to tell me. She tried to tell me it wouldn't work. She said, but you may be different. Try it and see. And so hard head, I did. And I should have just skipped to listening to Shelley. I'd have been so much better off.
I didn't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I was like, oh, I don't know, but try it. Let me know.
Yeah. Not.
Yeah, there's nothing like the personal connection. I just think we're never going to get around that. It is what it is, right? And if we can really lean into it and embrace it, it's a really cool thing.
Every time I've done something like that, I realize that subconsciously I was trying to get somebody else to do my job for me. That's not a slam on you, Kathy. That is for me. I've thought I want to make this easier on myself, which I do believe in working smarter and not harder, but it's never worked out because I was literally trying to get somebody else or an AI to do my job.
I can agree with that. I hired somebody to help build my Instagram, and I paid him for a couple of months. He got me more followers, but they were people I did not know. There was no emotional connection. So yeah, did my followers grow? Yeah, but nothing happened. Nothing went from there. Turns out you have to get in your DMs and you have to make a relationship with all these people. I was like, oh, that's a lot. I thought you were just going to do this for me.
Well, we have about 10 minutes if anybody else has anything. Shelley, this has been great. I took notes the whole time.
Good. I'm glad.
It's so encouraging.
I'm glad. I just said a prayer and was like, okay, I'm just going to talk about all my struggles and hopefully somebody can relate.
If you had just left it with culture and community, and then with a acknowledgement, appreciation, acceptance, that is part of culture and community. That's how we keep each other. It really was good.
Good. I'm glad.
What are the most helpful things that you've done to get people to actually show up? I've done classes and stuff and I struggle with that, like actually having people come, or like I've done Facebook classes and I just have like zero engagement. And that's discouraging. So
That's very discouraging. I can absolutely relate to that. I will tell you, and I know other people that I think have been successful with Facebook classes, like popping up the post regularly, that kind of thing. I had some girls that did it very well. Their posts were great. They timed it well. They had good prizes. They did it very well. And the engagement was, I have never seen awesome engagement in those, me personally. For me, and this is just me speaking, what has gotten people into my house and like to an online Zoom is literally speaking to what is important to them. And so that takes literally personal messaging, and like me reaching out to Kathy and saying, hey, she has grandbabies. I know that about her. Hey, this class is about how to take care of babies. She's going to be like, oh, I want to take care of my grandbabies, and I want my daughters to take care of them. We're all getting on. You know what I mean? I could reach out to, I have several of my, okay, so I'm 43. So a big topic with me and all of my girlfriends here right now is perimenopause and gaining weight and anxiety and all the crap that goes with that. I guarantee you, if I message all of them right now and I'm like, all right, it's a class tonight on anxiety and getting rid of cellulite, they're all going to be on there. So it's literally, you can't just say, hey, we've got a class about oils tonight. Nobody cares. It has to literally be a topic that they, and so one thing that I've done, I think you guys have probably seen this on my Facebook posts. This was kind of an accident, but it's worked out really well. I bought, Megan Trombley got me hooked up with a ionic foot detox bath machine. You guys have probably seen my posts. Well, I had great results with it. And anytime I have great results, I have a big mouth. And so I started posting about it when people were like, oh, I want to do that. So I'm like, okay, come over and get a foot detox, and I'm going to teach you about oils, and we're going to do a little make and take. And so the last couple of people that they were already members, never joined loyalty. I think it was like 8 of them. I kind of did date night. It was a Friday night. I was like, I'm just going to try this out. Normally I do like a women theme class, like come during the day or whatever. I was like, let me just try a Friday night date night kind of thing. And I invited several couples. They all came and did a foot detox. Literally, I'm like pointing, like y'all can see, my kitchen table's right there. We sat at my kitchen table. My husband actually did all the talking about Ningxia and how he puts orange oil on his toothpaste to whiten his teeth, and how he likes Comfort Tone because it makes him poop. He did all, and we had everybody join loyalty that night. One of them, they even had like an $800 order. And I was like, this is how we built our business, you know? And it's just getting people over because of what they care about. So I hope that's helpful. But yes, it's very individualized. It's not, you can't just do this blanket thing. Again, it's not always the easy button.
thank you so much. That is super helpful. I think that's been definitely the times that I've had the most connection, is when I'm like, know for sure that someone's going through something that they need that.
And
So,
I would rather see several people, 2, 3, 4 people get on loyalty with an order that's important to them that they want to stick with, rather than like 30 random people that show up to an oil class and then they don't really care because it was just an overview of the kit. You know what I mean? So
my next question is, what do you do when someone orders something and they hate it? I just recently had someone who really resonated with just the description of Trauma Life. I've never smelled Trauma Life before, but apparently to her, it's just like the most rancid, awful thing ever. And I've had a couple of people where that's happened, and I've never had that happen to myself. Like I've never had one that I mean, I hate the way dye smells, but I love how it works. So I use it anyway. But I wasn't sure how to like direct them or respond to that kind of big reaction. Have you had to deal with that?
So it's been said in a lot of our communities and by some people that I really respect, that when you have a extremely repulsive response to an oil, that can be indicating that it's really hitting on some hard emotional stuff for you. Basically, it's hitting that limbic system. Your body's like, oh, hell no, because it doesn't want to go through all the crap that you've buried and shoved down that is not serving you. And so what I explain that to people, and I'm like, look, the cool thing is, if you will stick with it, first of all, you will be shocked at how quickly you will actually begin to like the oil, but also how quickly you can start to feel lighter because you're releasing some of this trauma, you're releasing some of this negative emotion that has been stuck that you didn't know was there probably. The other thing a person can do, I tell them, one, you can stick it on your feet, put socks on and get in bed. So hopefully you don't just really smell it. Or throw that baby in a capsule and swallow it. Then you don't have to smell it. So now if they are just like not taking any of that for me and they are just like, no, done, I'm really mad, why'd I spend money on this, not doing it, then I'll be like, okay, I'll trade you. What do you want? But I do try to talk it through them first and really encourage them to try to work with it for a bit and not just totally give up right when they have it.
Thank you.
Our time is just about up. So this is being recorded. I'm going to stop the recording right now.